I remember looking someone I loved in the eyes and saying, I thought I could trust you. And without missing a beat, he looked back at me and said, You could trust me until you couldn't. And I can still remember exactly how I felt in that moment. I was hurt. I was pissed off. Honestly, I thought it was one of the most screwed up things that anyone had ever said to me. And it felt like he was just trying to justify breaking my trust. But years later, I realized that conversation completely rewired how I think about trust. Not because I agree with what he did, I don't. And not because I think that we should walk around and constantly question everyone in our lives. I don't think that either. It changed how I think about access because maybe the question isn't, can I trust this person? What level of access has this person actually and consistently earned? And that question changed everything. Hello, my powerful people. This is the Info Power Podcast, and I'm your host, Jasmine Conway. This is not a relationship podcast, but I would be remiss if I didn't touch on this because relationships are a part of your personal power. Who has access to you is a part of your personal power that we cannot afford to ignore. They are a part of your human experience that we just got to talk about sometimes. There is a specific kind of hurt that I don't think we talk about enough. And it's not the stranger who's rude to you. It's not the person who never liked you in the first place. Those sting, sure, but you get over those. I'm talking about the other one, the one where you let somebody all the way in and you give them the real you, the unflattering parts, the 3 a.m. version, the stuff that you don't show just anyone, and you trusted them with it. And then one day when you needed them, they just weren't there. They went silent. Or worse, maybe they took the very thing that you handed them and they used it against you. And here's the thing, it's not even the anger that gets you first. It's the confusion because your brain keeps running it back, going, but I let you in. I chose you. How are you the one who did this to me? And then right behind the confusion comes the decision, this little vow that you never say aloud, the one a whole lot of us have made at some point and we've never admitted to it. It's the fine. I'm never going to experience this again. I'm never going to let anybody else hurt me. I'm never going to give anybody the power to make me feel this way ever again. And I need to talk to y'all about that vow today because I have made this same vow myself. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most understandable, most human, and most expensive promises that you will ever make. So there is this one piece of relationship advice that it's never sat right with me. After someone hurts us, people usually tell us one of two things. Either they say, don't let anybody else ever hurt you like that again, or they're in the other school of thought and they say, don't let one bad experience cause you to close your heart. And honestly, neither one of those feels complete because if you build all these walls around your heart, you might protect yourself, but you also cut yourself off from the very connection that you are longing for. But if you just throw your heart wide open at everyone who walks into your life, eventually someone is going to walk in with dirty shoes and they're going to cause some problems. So the real question isn't whether your heart should stay open or closed. The real question is, how do you stay open without becoming easy to wound? And that's what we're talking about today. So maybe you have been hurt so badly that you have started calling your walls boundaries. Or maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you trust quickly, you love generously, and somehow you keep ending up shocked when people disappoint you. Or maybe you're just trying to figure out whether someone deserves another chance. If you are in any of those places, this episode is for you. So stay with me. When somebody we trusted hurts us, most of us walk away with the same lesson. People can't be trusted. But I don't think that was actually ever the lesson. Here is what really happened. The problem was not that you trusted. The problem was that you gave someone access, all access, keys to everything, the deepest parts of who you are, the deepest parts of your trust when they had only earned a hello. You handed them the whole house and they barely made it to the porch. And usually we do that because we're trusting who we hope they are. We're trusting the potential, the version of them that we can see on their best day, or the person that they could become, instead of the version that they have actually consistently, repeatedly shown us they are. So hear me out, because this is a line that everything hangs on. You have to trust the pattern and not the potential. Now, let me be really clear about what I mean by pattern, because I think this is where we sometimes get it wrong. I am not talking about perfection. I don't believe that one bad day tells you who someone is. I don't believe that one argument suddenly reveals someone's true colors. We are human. We all have days where we're stressed, distracted, overwhelmed, defensive, tired, or we simply don't show up as our best selves. That is not what I'm watching. I'm watching what happens over time. Do they take responsibility? Do they repair? Do they keep showing up? Is honesty their pattern? Is kindness their pattern? Is consistency their pattern? Trust is not built on perfection. It is built on consistency. People are going to show you who they are in the small stuff, who they are when they're tired, whether their words and actions match, whether they show up the third time, not just the first time when it was exciting. And most of the time, we do see it. We really do. We just override it because we want so badly for them to be who we hoped that they were. So let me give y'all the framework that changed things for me. Here's the whole shift, okay? Open is a posture. It is how you move through the world. Access is a privilege. It gets assigned, and you are the one who has the power to assign it. Let me give you a little mind hack for how I like to think about access. I like to think about access in 3 levels, like a house. Level 1 is the doorstep. The doorstep is for everybody. It's the basic warmth, basic kindness, a genuine hello, how are you? The door stays open. I don't want to become a cold person, and I don't want you to become a cold person either. The world has enough of that. But hear me, most people in your life are going to be doorstep people. That's not an insult. That's just the truth. Everybody doesn't make it inside of your home. Most people are just going to reside at the doorstep, and it is what it is. Then there's level 2. Level 2 is the living room. The living room is earned. This is where I let you into my actual life, my real time, my real stories, my ordinary days. You don't get into the living room just because we clicked once. You don't get into the living room just because I like your personality. You get into the living room because you showed up, and then you showed up again over time. Consistency is the cover charge to get in the living room. Not everybody can get in the living room, honey. And notice I did not say perfectly. I said consistently. Some of the people that I trust most have disappointed me before. We've had conflict. We've misunderstood each other. We've had to repair things, because that's what happens when imperfect people spend enough life together. But over the years, they've also celebrated me. They've answered late night phone calls. They've listened without trying to fix me. They've told me hard truths with love. They have shown up when it mattered, again and again and again. They did not earn the living room because they never made mistakes. They earned it because their pattern consistently told me, you are safe with me. And then there is level 3. Level 3 is the keys. The keys are full access. This is where you get my deepest fears, my real soft underbelly, the stuff that, if you used it against me, it would actually hurt me. It would do damage. Not everybody gets the keys. In fact, almost nobody gets the keys. And that took me a while to learn. But here's something else that took me even more time to learn. The keys are revocable. You could take them back. Just because someone has been given full access and they got the keys doesn't mean that they have access forever. They can lose the keys. This is what brings me back to the 2 rules that make this whole thing work. Rule number 1, people get promoted by their pattern, not their promises, not by what they swear they're going to be, but by what they keep showing you they already are. And here's the part that I don't want us to forget. Trust can grow too. We spend so much time talking about when people lose our trust that we forget that people can earn more of it too. Some of the safest people in my life didn't become safe because they were flawless. No, they became safe because over months and over years, they quietly kept showing me who they were. Trust is not built through one grand gesture. That's how we get disappointed. But it is built through 100 ordinary moments of consistency. Okay. Rule number 2, demotion is not cruelty. Demotion is accuracy. Sometimes people got to be demoted. Moving someone from the keys back down to the living room is not you being cold, bitter, or closed off. It is you calibrating in real time. It's you finally telling the truth about where they actually are. This is not a wall. This is just being honest about the floor plan. And I learned this the hard way. Okay? The hard way. I'm a giver by nature. I love showing up for the people I care about with my whole heart. I'm a wholehearted person. So when someone came into my life and showed me the good stuff, the warmth, the depth, the version of them that was so easy to fall for, I just handed over keys level access and I did it quickly. But here's the thing that I didn't understand yet. They had only shown me their representative. You know, the one that has the best foot forward, who's charming and consistent, and they say all the right things while the relationship is still new and it's still easy. But the thing about the representative is they're not lying exactly. They're just not the whole person. They had enough time to show me their best version, but not enough time or not enough honesty to show me the full version. And I gave the keys to the representative. So when things got hard, the rep clocked out, and the person underneath wasn't who I handed my softness to. And the result for me wasn't just disappointment. It was disappointment and then a whole season of trust issues on top of that, because now I'm sitting here going, well, is it other people that I can't trust? Or is it my own judgment that I can't trust? And that second question was a lot for me to handle, because here's what I refuse to do. I refuse to victim blame myself. I refuse to stand here and go, well, I should have known. I shouldn't have trusted them. This is on me. I'm not doing that. You know why? Because that makes me pay for it twice. Once in the disappointment that someone else handed to me, and then a second time in the self blame that I would be handing to myself on top of it. And that is two prices to pay for one wound, and I'm not doing that to myself. I am not responsible for somebody else disappointing me. I'm not responsible for someone misrepresenting who they are. That bill is theirs. But I can hold this one piece, not the blame, but the responsibility. I'm responsible for how much space I give, how much time I let pass before I hand over the keys. Whether I let a relationship actually unfold long enough for the real person to show up, not just the representative, but the whole human on a tired day, on a hard day, on the third time and not just the first. That's the part that's mine. And that's the part that this whole framework protects. Now, I can already hear some of y'all. Okay, Jasmine, isn't this just a wall with extra steps? No, no. And the distinction matters. A wall keeps everybody out. The good ones, the bad ones, they get treated exactly the same because fear has become the architect of this wall. But discernment is the opposite. Discernment is going to keep the door open on purpose because you finally have a system. You can be warm at the doorstep because you know not everybody is walking out with keys. Walls are built out of fear, but discernment is built out of self-respect. And here's why that matters. Without discernment, people tend to spend their lives swinging between two bad extremes and overcorrecting. Wide open until they get hurt, then slam shut until they get lonely, then wide open again, then shut down again, back and forth forever. The rooms are what stop the swing. The rooms are what make staying open sustainable. Somewhere along the way, we got sold this idea that you only get two choices. You can be soft, open, warm, loving, a little naive, or you can be strong, guarded, careful, hard to get to. Like you have to pick one and live there. But you don't. You don't need anybody's permission to be both. You already are both. Soft and selective, warm and wise, open-hearted, and nobody's fool. That isn't a privilege that somebody grants you. In fact, the people that I admire most are usually the ones who love deeply without becoming easy to manipulate. It's because their boundaries are so clear that they can afford to keep their hearts open. The walls are not around their heart, they're around who gets access to their heart. And that is what being in full power looks like. It's not a fortress that nobody can reach. And it's not an open field that anybody can trample and have access to. It is a house, warm, lit up, welcoming at the door, with a few rooms that you have to earn your way into. You were always both. You just needed a framework. So here's your power practice for the week, because you know I love to leave you with a power practice. I want you to pick one relationship that maybe you found a little bit confusing lately. Just one. And I want you to ask yourself 2 honest questions. Number 1, what level of access have I given this person? Doorstep, living room, or keys? And 2, what level have they actually earned? By their pattern, not their potential. And then make one adjustment. Maybe you got somebody standing on the doorstep who has been earning the living room for years and you just had not noticed. So this week, you let them in a little more. Or maybe you've got somebody walking around with keys that they haven't earned in a long time. And it's time to gently right-size the relationship. It doesn't have to be a big speech or a confrontation. Just you finally being honest with yourself. Okay? So here's what I know now. Staying open after you've been hurt is not naive. When you do it with your eyes open, with room, keys, and a little discernment, is one of the bravest things a human can do. Because the goal is not to become untouchable. The goal is to become wise enough that you can keep your heart open without losing yourself. So wherever you are today, hiding behind a wall, handing out keys too fast, or trying to decide who belongs in which room, hear me clearly. You do not have to choose between your softness and your safety. You get to keep both. So keep the door open. Get honest about who gets the keys. And whatever you decide this week, you keep moving forward. You do it powerfully, even if you do it just 1 inch at a time. If this resonated with you, share it with another powerful person who needs to hear it. I'm Jasmine Conway. This is the In Full Power Podcast. I'll talk to you next time.